Welcome to Channel Vision Tales, and let us get started. How she didn't want her husband to go with her to her company's corporate party. She was delighted when he said he was going on a business trip and put on a sad face. Only the day before the party did she find out that the trip had been cancelled. The evening itself did not portend any trouble. The only thing that upset her a little was that she wouldn't be able to talk to Roman. But that wasn't so important, although he was a very interesting conversationalist. Roman was a new employee, recently hired, and his office was one floor above hers. Little was known about him at the company. Veronica ran into him at the supermarket, where she had gone shopping after work. She went through the checkout, put the groceries in a bag, picked it up by the handles, and then the bottom of the bag tore. Everything she had put in the bag fell out onto the floor. Cursing under her breath, she began to gather up the scattered groceries and bumped into him. He looked at her with his big blue eyes and said gently, "These things happen. These bags are so unreliable. Let me help you." He smiled at her, and together they quickly gathered up the fallen groceries. Veronica bought the bags at the checkout, and he helped her arrange everything, picked them up, and offered, "Let us go. I'll drive you home." It wasn't too far to walk, but Veronica decided not to refuse his help. In the car, he said, "I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Roman. We work at the same company. Your office is on the second floor, and mine is on the third. Yes, I remember seeing you. My name is Veronica. You didn't buy anything because of me, did you?" "No, I bought 2 packs of cigarettes. That's why I came to the supermarket. But smoking is bad for you. They ray not for me. They ray for a friend from our department. For Oleg. He is sick and asked me to bring him a couple of packs of cigarettes when I visit him." "Where are you going?" "To that house over there. There is a parking lot and a bus stop." "Great, I can get anywhere. It is on my way. Oleg lives nearby." "Are you in a hurry to get somewhere? I do ballroom dancing. Are you running late?" "No, everything is going well for me." "Does Oleg dance too?" "He used to, but he injured his knee and doesn't dance anymore." "How did that happen?" "It is a long story." "We ray here. Would you like some help carrying your bags to the entrance?" "No, thank you. You've already done so much for me." Veronica took her bags and left, and Roman went about his business. The next day, they met at a cafe where all the office staff were having lunch. There were a lot of people, and no one was surprised that they ended up at the same table. That is how they started talking. Working on a project that turned out to be common to both their departments brought them even closer together. Their colleagues had already noticed their affection for each other and began to tease her about it. Everything was fine at home. Her husband was working on a complex and expensive project and often went on business trips, but it was gradually coming to an end, and the next project, as Alexei told Veronica, was related to the city and did not involve any travel. And then there was the corporate party. The day before, Veronica told Roman that her husband was going on a business trip for a very complex project. She said this not to emphasize her husband's absence, but to show what a valuable specialist her husband was. By this time, the children had been taken to Alexei as parents for the winter holidays. The grandparents adored their grandchildren. They arrived at the restaurant, changed their clothes, and left their coats in the cloakroom. Alexei kept the cloakroom tickets, broad-shouldered, with a slim, athletic figure. Alexei involuntarily attracted the attention of women. They went up to the hall. They were offered seats at the table. Kostya was sitting at the end. Next to him was Kotya. Everyone knew that they were dating and preparing for their wedding. Then there were the seats for Veronica and Alexei. Svetlana was sitting next to Alexei. Svetlana was unmarried and had come to the corporate party alone. Towards the beginning of the evening, Roman entered the hall. Looking around at the employees sitting at the table, he noticed that Veronica had come alone. He did not know her husband, and at the moment when Roman was looking to see who was sitting with Veronica, Alexei was helping Svetlana with the appetizers on the table. Finally, everyone sat down. The management appeared. The director gave a passionate speech in which he briefly mentioned the distinguished employees and said about the bonus that was transferred to them today. The toastmaster appeared, entertaining everyone with funny jokes. 3 toasts and 3 times the glasses clinked. Veronica, who was drinking cognac, got slightly drunk. Alexei, on the other hand, did not even drink champagne. He replaced champagne with a carbonated drink. He had to go to work in the morning, customers from a neighboring city had arrived, and all the documents had to be signed. Although formally the facility had already been commissioned, the music started, and the dancing began. And then Roman appeared next to Veronica. Without looking at anyone, he put his arm around Veronica and asked her to dance. She got up and went. Alexei looked after her and said quietly to himself, "I don't understand." What was that? Sveta, who was sitting next to him and had also had some cognac, but didn't he know Veronica's husband, replied quietly, "They've been fooling around for a long time. The whole office knows, but I don't remember you. Did you say you were a lead engineer?" At that moment, Roman was dancing with Veronica on the dance floor, holding her close, and she did not resist. He whispered something incessantly in her ear, and she giggled in response. It was a beautiful dance. During one of the pirouettes, she met her husband's gaze and realized that there would be trouble. But the music stopped. The next dance, a fast one, followed immediately, and some couples left the dance floor. Veronica asked Roman to take her not to the table, but to the ladies' room to fix her hair. Seeing her husband's furious eyes, she sobered up instantly. Now she needed time to come up with a plausible explanation for her husband for such a close dance and Roman's vulgar treatment of her. After tie-dyeing herself up, she decided that she should tell Roman that she was here with her husband. In addition, Veronica decided that she had to put Roman in his place. Such treatment of her in front of all the office workers was unacceptable, and, in general, Veronica thought she had to end this ridiculous friendship, otherwise she might lose her husband. Veronica left the ladies' room and walked to her seat at the table, bypassing the dance floor. She looked around but saw neither Roman nor Alexei anywhere. She decided that they must be somewhere in the thick of the dancing couples. She reached her seat, sat down, and poured herself some fruit juice. At that moment, Kotya and Kostya arrived. Kostya placed a number tag from her coat check in front of Veronica and said, "Alexei sent this to you. Where is he? Was he called to work?" Kotya drank some champagne and replied, "Veronica, you raise such a fool. How do you think your husband should react when you and your lover perform a passionate dance in front of him?" "What dance? What passion? What are you talking about?" "It is just a dance. What lover? Roman and I are just colleagues at work. Come on, the whole office saw you dancing close together, including me. Everyone in the office is talking about how you Ray colleagues. They don't talk about me and Kostya anymore, but we Ray single and planning to get married. Kostya proposed to me, and whereas Roman, Kostya replied, Your Roman is a complete idiot." He went into the bathroom, met Alexei there, and said to him, "Listen, old man, let us swap places. I've been chasing this chick for a long time and everything has been agreed. You don't care where you sit, and after the bar, we'll go to my place or his. Well, it is up to her. I've wanted to fuck her for a long time, but I never had the time." And then what? Nothing. I didn't even understand how Alexei knocked him out. But that is not all. Then he shoved his head into the toilet. I was afraid to approach Alexei, but when he saw me, he calmly told me to give the coat check ticket to Veronica. That is all. What a nightmare. Well, the dance was stupid, but I didn't have anything with Roman. I didn't promise him anything. Where is Roman? He seems to be on his feet, but he is very unsteady. He is washing his face in the sink right now. It is scary to look at him. It seems like he only got hit once. Yes, Lesha is a master of sports in light heavyweight boxing. Veronica instantly calculated everything that had happened and what would happen next. She quickly got ready to leave. At that moment, Roman came out of the man's room and headed straight for the table where Veronica was sitting. Seeing this, Veronica came out from behind the table and, when he got closer, kicked him in the groin and then, when he bent over from the blow, delivered a sharp blow to his jaw. As he fell, Roman only managed to stammer, "I wanted to apologize." Veronica did not hear what he said, as she was already walking towards the exit. The CEO, who was preparing to make a toast, looked after her and suddenly clapped his hands. Everyone joined in. Amidst the applause, Veronica left the restaurant. She quickly got dressed, grabbed the bag with her shoes, and went outside. At the taxi stand, she got into a car and gave the address. Half an hour later, she was at the door of her apartment. She quickly opened the door and realized that no miracle had happened. The apartment was empty. Her husband had not come home from the restaurant. She did not know where he could have gone. After thinking it over, she dialed her husband's phone number, but he did not answer. Then she wrote a text message. Alexei, I am sorry, you misunderstood everything and it is my fault. Come home and talk to me. What you did to Roman was right. I was told what he offered you and I added to it at 1:00 in the morning. The doorbell rang. Veronica threw on her robe and opened the door, thinking that Alexei had returned. But it was the police. They asked Veronica who she was and where her husband was. They asked her to get dressed, take her passport, and follow them to the station. There, when they told her that Veronica was being detained on suspicion of causing bodily harm to Roman, she asked, "What will happen?" "It depends on the severity of the injuries, but they want to be assessed today. If his jaw is broken, it could be considered grievous bodily harm, and if not, minor hooliganism. After all, you hit him in a restaurant, in a banquet hall, in the presence of a number of employees, in a public place. What if I file a counterclaim? What kind? For sexual harassment. He is not in danger of that anymore. The doctors are fighting for him, but they can't promise anything. Tell me, where is your husband? What does he have to do with this?" It seems he also struck the victim in the restroom, in the man's room. For you, it is the man's room, but according to our classification, it is the man's toilet. Unfortunately, we haven't found any witnesses to this. We'll hold you in the detention center until morning. Veronica was placed in a separate cell in the detention center. There were bunks there. Veronica put her fist under her arm and lay down to sleep on the bare boards. To be continued.